Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Welcome to the Higher Education Expo 2024 webinar session. With me today is Yang Mulia, Mr. Joachim Lim, Assistant Manager, Student Recruitment from Singapore University of Social Sciences, who will be sharing a topic on exploring SUSS. Your higher education journey begins here. Without further ado, I invite you to start your presentation.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, wherever you are. My name is Joachim from the Student Recruitment and Admissions Office at the Singapore University of Social Sciences. Just give me a moment while I pull up my slides. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. All right, so once again, I'm from the Singapore University of Social Sciences. Just a fun fact, the short form is not pronounced SUSS or SUSS, it's just pronounced SUSS in short. Okay, just like how Singapore Institute of Technology is pronounced SIT and not SIT. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through a quick introduction to the university as well as the full-time programs and let you have a look at what you can expect should you come and join the SUSS family and study with us. Okay, so without further ado, this is our campus. We are located along Clementi Road beside Ngee Polytechnic. Very nice building. When you're driving along Clementi Road, you should be able to see it. It's got a huge sign that says SUSS as well. So a quick introduction to the university. We are one of Singapore's autonomous universities. Autonomous university is just another name for public university. So right now in Singapore, there are 6 public universities. They are NUS, NTU, SMU, SUTD, SIT, and SUSS. From this year onwards, there will be a 7th autonomous university called UAS, University of the Arts Singapore. So that's a collaboration between LaSalle and NAFA. So if you're looking at undergraduate degrees in areas such as film, drama, then that's the university for you, I would say. Okay. So we are an applied university where we don't do the traditional lecture tutorial style of teaching. Over here in SUSS and in some of the other local universities, we focus on the hands-on approach to learning, which is why the word applied, meaning you apply what you have learned into things like real-life working scenarios. I'll cover more about how the teaching style is like in SUSS in the later part of my slides. We are Singapore's first and main institute for lifelong learning. We are also home to Singapore's third law school. In case you're not aware, the other 2 law schools are found at NUS and SMU. So the other 2 law schools focus more on commercial law, whereas for SUSS, we focus more on criminal and family law. Okay. Our unique programs include early childhood education, public safety and security, human resource management. So if you're thinking of coming to Singapore to study areas like early childhood education, then it's only SUSS that you'll be studying with. Okay, and another plus point I would say about studying with SUSS is that our programs are very specialized. So if you know of certain areas that you wish to specialize in, studying with SUSS allows you to take modules in these areas from the day one itself, from the get-go, I would say, as compared to other universities where you probably have to start with a generic business degree first, then maybe in year 2 or year 3, if you are looking at specializing in marketing or finance, then you take modules related to that. I want to introduce you to the SUSS student ecology or student population. It's very different from the other universities because the bulk of our students come from the part-time programs. So these are working adults. They hold full-time jobs in the day. In the evenings, they come for class. We have about 14,000 of them right now. The next group of students you would find would be the full-time programs of fresh school leavers. So this would be where people like yourselves in the future, this would be where you can come into, if you want to continue studying straight away, when you finish your A-levels, for example. Right now, we have slightly over 4,000 of them across all intakes. And the last group of students would be continuing education for graduates and working adults. This would be where they can take courses on a modular basis. So think of it as kind of like your Lego blocks. You can stack them up to a generic business degree, for example. So these are the 3 different groups of students you'd find in the university, as well as the 3 different pathways that the university offers to anyone who wishes to further their studies at any stage in their life. So a quick look at SUSS. We have 5 schools in total. They are all color-coded as well. It's easier for you to take reference in the next few slides because of the color codes, okay? So we have the School of Business, we have the S.R. Nathan School of Human Development, the School of Humanities and Behavioral Sciences, the School of Science and Technology, School of Law, and the Center for Continuing and Professional Education. So that's the office, CCP, that's the office that handles the modules that are done on a modular basis. So all in all, we have 12 full-time programs. We have 2 law programs, more than 80 part-time undergrad and grad programs, and more than 1,000 modular courses here. Okay. So what's new for SUSS in 2024 for the full-time programs? We are launching 2 new full-time programs. The first one is the Bachelor of Arts in Chinese Studies. So this program offers a minor in Chinese language and culture and a minor in Chinese literature as well. So if you are thinking of becoming a journalist, for example, in the future, right, this could be a choice for you if you know, reporting for the Chinese newspaper, for example. The other program that we are launching is the Bachelor of Science in Psychology, which comes with a couple of specialization tracks, such as forensic psychology, organizational psychology. There's even a general track for that, okay? Just some numbers from our 2023 Graduate Employment Survey. So as you can see, SUSS graduates are highly sought after in the workforce. 9 in 10 of them, they secured employment within 6 months of completing their final exams. So even before they have graduated from the university, they are already employed or secured employment in that sense. Okay, and the top 3 courses for employability are supply chain management, accountancy, finance. The mean gross monthly salary of a fresh SUSS grad rose as well to about $3,800. Okay. So for the purpose of today's sharing session, I'm going to focus more on the full-time programs. We offer 12 of them at this point in time. They are all 4-year direct honors, meaning at the end of your 4 years of study, depending on your CGPA, your grades, you will graduate with some form of honors. Okay, so the highest, of course, would be your first class, followed by your second upper, second lower, so on and so forth. So 12 of them. And these are what the 12 programs are. Once again, they are color-coded according to the schools that I shared earlier. So under the School of Business, the blue color ones on the left, we have accountancy, marketing, supply chain management, business analytics, finance. Information and communication technology comes from the School of Science and Technology. Then we have early childhood education, human resource management, and social work from the S.R. Nathan School of Human Development. And then from the School of Humanities and Behavioral Sciences, we have Chinese Studies, Psychology, Public Safety, and Security. Okay, so the programs with the plus at the back, those are the programs that have up to 4 options for you to complete your undergraduate studies. Okay, and what do I mean by 4 options? These are what the options are. Okay, so you have an option to do a single major, a major only degree, or a major minor combination, or a major with 2 minors, or a major with a second major. So in the next slide, this is based off the marketing program. Let's say I want to do marketing as my first major in a major only option. The remaining 60 credit units that you see on the right here, basically modules offered by any of the other schools. If let's say I want to do a module related to criminology, I could take that module and park it under free electives over here. Okay, and then we have major minor option where it's a marketing major followed by a first minor in data science, and then marketing with 2 minors. So you have marketing with digital media and film studies, or we have a first major and a second major. So second major in psychology over here. So the minors and majors are also color-coded here to really show you how interdisciplinary your learning experience can be in SUSS, because you could take minors that are related to your first major, or you could do something that's totally interest-related as well. Okay, one of the things that we pride ourselves in, I would say, in SUSS is flexibility in a lot of different things and giving you the option to customize your learning journey. That's one of the flexibilities that we offer as well. Okay. All right, so in terms of the second majors, these are what we offer at this point in time. So you'll find things like communication, political science, digital media, things like marketing, early childhood education. You can essentially take a second major from any of the schools that we have in SUSS, any of these second majors. The only catch is that your second major cannot be the same as your first major. Okay, so for example, if your first major is in marketing, your second major cannot be in marketing. But you could do, marketing as your first major and even finance as your second major. It's really up to you to choose. Okay. In terms of the minors, we have over 60 minor options that you can choose from. If you are talking about psychology, for example, we even drill it down into the various aspects of psychology, like business, education, forensics. We have minors in criminology, political science even. So once again, it's really up to you to choose how you want to customize your learning in SUSS. Moving on to the teaching style in SUSS, we teach differently. We call it the flipped classroom approach, okay? And this is how it works. So here in SUSS, we don't have physical lectures. In fact, our lectures are all online. So they are online lectures, they are recorded. So for SUSS students, what they will need to do is to watch the lectures, go through their study notes, their study materials, do their research first before they come for class. Okay, so PCOQ over here refers to the pre-course online quiz. Some modules have that in place, okay, and students need to pass the quiz in order to attend the face-to-face sessions. So when it comes to the face-to-face sessions, we don't run tutorials in SUSS, we run seminars instead. Similar to how other local universities like SMU will do their class and their learning. Okay, so when it comes to the face-to-face sessions, the seminars, you can expect things like case studies, presentations, or even debates. Okay, essentially what you are doing would be working on real life case scenarios. You are taking what you have learned at your preparation stage from your self-directed learning and applying it into real life concepts from there. Okay, if I could give you an example of the traditional style of learning versus what we do in SUSS. In a traditional style of learning, for example, if you are talking about marketing, you will attend lectures. When you go to tutorials, probably you might get a question such as, what is to explain what a marketing plan is. So you'll just regurgitate from the book, right? A marketing plan is a tool that marketers will use to engage their target audience. Whereas here in SUSS, you would already have some knowledge of what a marketing plan is beforehand at your preparation stage over here. So when it comes to the activity stage, to the seminars, you would probably get a question like to come up with a marketing plan to sell Apple's latest iPhone 15, for example. So based on your knowledge of a marketing plan, if you are going to reach out to the younger generation, for example, what kind of platforms are you going to use from there? For example, Instagram, Facebook, okay? Then from there, you'll be able to plan, the kind of budget that you're going to put in to, to run your advertisements and things like that as well. And of course, we round off everything in the form of reflection that comes in the form of your individual assignments, group projects, and even exams. Okay, you can't escape from exams, I would say. So in short, this is the flipped classroom concept that we adopt here in SUSS. It's similar, to some of the other local universities as well. Okay. Another thing that we do deliberately would be classes for electives and minors. They are held in the evenings together with the working professionals. Okay, so this actually helps our students to network, to build their network from there. Because when you're interacting with the working adults, you get to leverage on their real life working experience. And you never know, they might end up being your future colleagues, your future employers, or even your future employees if you're looking at starting your own business. So we have 2 semesters per year with 1 special semester in the middle. And this is how the semester system works. Okay, so we always start with the July semester. The 12-week semesters run from August to October. And then we have revision and exams in November, followed by your school holidays in November and December. And then after that, you can have a break, start with your self-directed learning, and we'll kickstart the entire second semester again with the January semester. Okay, and then the special semester from May to June, that's really for students who if you want to embark on your overseas trips, for example, or short internships, or even take some modules to help speed up your learning journey in SUSS. So this is the 4-year journey in SUSS. We have things like the student team building program. We have career development, life skills training, where we teach you things like resume writing, interview skills. All SUSS freshmen will start with SUSS core over here. And of course, we have your major, minor, and elective courses. As a university for social good, we want our students to make a difference in the lives of those around them in the community, which is why all SUSS students have to embark on a service learning project. Okay. And then we have the 24-week work attachment as well, global learning opportunity, where we want our students to really venture outside of Singapore, because Singapore is so small. It's very hard to learn in Singapore. So you need to travel out there, experience life, experience different things. And the integrated course, that's kind of like your final year project that's done in year 4 to sum up everything that you've done, in the last couple of years with us. Okay, so in the next couple of slides, I'm just going to give you some examples of some of the projects that our students have done, or some of the things that our students have been through as well. Okay, so in terms of service learning, we've packaged it into a core compulsory course. Okay, so as part of this course, students can identify certain areas in the community that they want to work on. For example, if they want to look at animal welfare, they could work with SPCA to, look at rehoming of the animals in the shelter. Okay, so in terms of the commitment, how many hours a week you'll need to spend working on your service learning project, it's really up to you to decide together with your partner organization from there. Okay. So for this particular project, this global service learning project called Project CREST, it was a 15-day coastal habitat restoration project where our students went over to one of the islands in Indonesia to plant mangrove seedlings and transplant corals. Okay, so for these students who embarked on the global service learning project, they fulfilled both the service learning as well as the global learning components from there. Okay, so as part of this project as well, they worked with a social enterprise that runs one of the schools in the villages to impart operations management theories. In terms of global learning, we've packaged it into a core compulsory course called NIE 351, interdisciplinary global learning. So it's a curated overseas experiential learning experience that spans across 2 semesters. Okay, so in addition to the overseas field trips, you also have seminars to help you understand, enhance and deepen your learning about the kind of issues and challenges people in different countries, different cultures they face as well. But other than this particular course, if you want to embark on other global learning opportunities, that is possible as well. Okay, so we are flexible. You could do it in the form of curriculum, which refers to summer, winter school, or even semester exchange programs. You could do experiential learning, which is what we call study missions. You could do your global service learning, okay, which is Project CREST, like I shared earlier. You do your service learning overseas, or you could even do your work attachment overseas as well. Very, very flexible in SUSS, I would say. Okay, so in the next slide, I'll give you some examples of where our students have been to for the summer winter school. So you'll find a lot of familiar university names there, like, of course, the most popular place our students like to go would be Korea because of all your K-pop, K-drama, your Blackpink in the area, right? So, you see Korea University, Seoul National University. Some of our students, they've even ventured all the way to US and UK as well, with universities such as Berkeley, British Columbia, King's College, London School of Economics and Political Science. Okay, when you are embarking on your summer, winter school or semester exchange program, okay, what you'll need to do, you log into the portal, you'll be able to see the list of our partner universities that we work with and the modules that they are offering for the exchange program. Okay, so when you head over to the partner university, you'll be studying those modules. And when you come back to Singapore, you can use those modules to offset from the 200 credit units that you need to graduate. Okay, another good thing about this is that when you are studying with the overseas universities, you're actually still paying school fees to SUSS instead. So it's cheaper in a way as well. All right, in terms of the study missions, they are always tailor-made according to your individual program. Okay, so these are just some countries that our students have been to recently. If you're talking about things like entrepreneurship, our students have been to Myanmar, UAE, and one of the more recent ones for our public safety and security students, they went to Canberra, Australia. So these are just some pictures of them visiting the law enforcement agencies to find out how the police force, the law enforcement agencies, they keep their communities safe on a day-to-day basis. In terms of work attachment and internship partners, we have over 1,000 of them. You'll see some very familiar brand names up there like Deloitte, PwC, Adidas, Tencent, Louis Vuitton, for example. But in terms of work attachment and internships, we are flexible as well. Okay, you could choose to do it at any of our partner organizations, or if you are thinking of sourcing for your own company to be attached to, we offer that as well. That's also possible. Okay. Like for Raina over here, Raina was part of the Alibaba Entrepreneurship Minor Program, the first batch of students. So as part of this minor program, what he had to do was to come up with a business idea and pitch it for funding. So back then, he had this idea of trying to cut down on food wastage in the hotel industry because, when you go for things like buffet and all, then you have a lot of food wastage. So back then, he had this idea of leveraging on technology to try and cut down food wastage. So he managed to get funding and he started his company called Good for Food. okay, dealing with looking at food wastage basically. So as part of his company, what it does is that it uses technology to read and identify foods that have a lot of wastage, and from there, he was able to let basically the hotels know what to cut down on in terms of food preparation. So that's one of the ways that they reduce food wastage. So for Raina, when it came his turn to embark on his work attachment, he actually approached the university and told us, hey, look, I have my own company here already. Is it possible I do my work attachment at my own company instead? And the school gave him the green light to do so, and his company has rebranded. It's now called Lumitics. He's doing very well. He was even featured in Time Magazine and Forbes Magazine as well. Okay. So contrary to what the internet might say about, SUSS not having life outside of studies, I'm here to tell you that there are. Okay, so these are just some pictures from our competition groups. So at the top over here, we have the bowling group, and then we have soccer, floorball, taekwondo, track and field. So you can join these competition groups, and when you do that, you essentially become student athletes. So you represent SUSS in the inter-university games against the other local universities like NUS and NTU, for example. Okay, and then we have various interest groups as well, like the Outdoor Adventure Club. On the right of your screen, that is the K-pop branch of the dance club. So dance has many different genres, so that's the K-pop branch. We have the futsal group as well, and depending on the program that you are enrolled in, of course, they have industry visits as well, curated learning experiences. In this particular slide for our PSS students, our public safety and security students, they visited, places like Disney's Asia Pacific Security Control Center, Home Team Gallery, and the Marina Bay Sands Security Service Department as well. Okay. All right, so moving on to the application criteria. We adopt a holistic approach when it comes to admissions here in SUSS. Okay, so your grades only forms one part. We also look at everything you've done outside of class. It could be things like your CCAs, your volunteer work, entrepreneurship, for example. Okay, so that's our holistic assessments in SUSS. But in terms of the academic portion, we do accept the IB diploma. If you are taking the international A levels, just take note, you will need to take either the SAT or ACT test as well. Okay. So for the SAT test, we are looking at a score of 1260 out of the two components, which is the evidence-based reading and writing and math. And if you are thinking of taking ACT, then we are looking at a score of 28 with a writing score of 8. So SAT and ACT are not administered by SUSS, they are administered by external organizations. Okay, so if you need more details about the SAT or ACT tests, you can find them from the URL that's shown at the bottom of the slides. In case you are taking qualifications where English is not the medium of instruction, then you will need to submit either IELTS, TOEFL, PTE academic scores, or C1 scores as well. And if you're thinking of taking early childhood education, because of the nature of the work, you are going to be in constant contact with young children, so you'll need to be both physically and mentally fit. Okay, so this is a requirement by the Early Childhood Development Agency in Singapore. All right, moving on to the selection process or interview process. If you do a Google search, you'll probably find certain forums saying, wow, SUSS interview process 2 to 3 hours long. Well, you know what they say about believing everything you read on the internet, right? Unfortunately, in this case, they are correct. Okay, so just let me share with you the selection process here in SUSS and why it's about 2 hours long. So about 7 days before your interview, we'll give you a research topic. Okay, that consists of an online article. The topic is not really related to the program you're applying for. It's more social issues related. It could be about the COVID pandemic, for example. So what you need to do is to, read the article, do a bit of research on that particular topic. Okay, but take note, there are some programs that have additional research topics like finance, for example, and business analytics to really have a sense of your interest in these programs. All right. So on the day of your interview, you start with a 30-minute response essay revolving around the research topic. Then you have a 12-minute cognitive test, which is kind of like a logic and reasoning test, followed by a program-specific interview ranging anywhere from between 30 to 45 minutes. So if you add up the timing, it's about 2 hours, 2 hours plus. Okay, so at the third stage, the program-specific interview, that is where the faculty members that are interviewing you are grade blind, meaning they have no idea where you're from, no idea what school you're from, no idea what your grades are even. Okay, so at the third stage, that is where the holistic assessments come in because they are looking at your portfolio. essentially everything that you've done outside of class. So here's a tip for your interview. If you are able to curate your portfolio according to the program that you are applying for, okay, that would show your interest in the program, and that would help you a lot as well in your interview. Okay, so in terms of the application timeline, we have one intake per year, which is the July intake. The next available intake is the July 2024 intake, and application will close on 19th of March. Okay, for students who are taking the IB diploma, if you have predicted scores, you can actually apply early with your predicted scores. Okay, so for 2025 intake, if you are looking at a later intake, we will probably open application for that sometime later this year in November onwards. And these are the tuition fees per year for the programs. So if you, the red color passport up there, that's for Singaporeans. For PRs, it's the dark blue one. For international students, it's the light blue one. So this is per year. Okay, for international students, you would see two rates, subsidized and unsubsidized. So if you are taking the subsidized rates, this would mean that you are, you have to sign the tuition grant agreement with the Singapore government, meaning at the end of your studies, you'll have to work in a Singapore-based entity for 3 years. Okay, if you choose the unsubsidized rates, then there's no bond involved in that sense. So once you have finished your studies, you're free to go anywhere you want from there. So another thing we do differently in SUSS would be tuition fees. Okay, we charge differently as well. You don't pay a flat fee per semester. Instead, you pay for whatever you are taking in the upcoming semester. So in this particular example, for this international student on tuition grant, this student is taking 6 modules in the upcoming semester. So the student only pays for that 6 modules instead. Okay. And in terms of estimated monthly living expenses, all in all, when you add up, this varies according to your spending habits, but we are looking at probably around $2,000 to $3,000 per month. Okay, this is just a rough guide. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have hostels on campus, but what we do is we work with hostel providers that are quite near to SUSS to offer competitive rates to students. So if you need any assistance in terms of accommodation or hostels, just let us know. We'll be happy to link you up. Okay. Okay, and the last part of my presentation, I'm going to touch a little bit on financial aid here in SUSS. So we split it into 2 different parts. We have the external administered financial aid schemes, and we have the SUSS administered ones as well. In terms of the external administered ones, basically whatever the other local universities offer, right? For example, the MOE tuition fee loan and the MOE study loan, we have that in SUSS as well. Okay, and we do have a lot of external scholarships that are specific to the programs that we offer. For example, the EGDA Training Award, that's for the Early Childhood Education Program. Okay, so for the full details of the external scholarships, including the timeline, application criteria, and all that, do head over to our website, suss.edu.sg, for the full list. Okay. In terms of the SUSS administered financial aid schemes, we do offer things like study grants, student care funds, study awards as well. And we also have our own SUSS scholarships, like the Global Excellence Scholarship, Social Impact Scholarship. We also offer the ASEAN Undergraduate Scholarship and the Temasek Foundation Sunburst Scholarship as well. Okay, so once again, for the full details, visit the website for the application timeline and all that. But I just want to touch on the ASEAN Undergrad Scholarship and the Temasek Foundation one, because for the ASEAN Undergrad Scholarship, there's no bond attached. It basically covers 100% of your tuition fees after the MOE tuition grant. You get a living allowance per year, per academic year, 5,800. You also get accommodation allowance and a one-time computer allowance as well. So it's got really good perks, I would say. So if you're able to apply for this scholarship, by all means, go ahead, do it. Okay. And for the Temasek Foundation Sunburst Scholarship, of course, you have money to offset your tuition fees, and you have living allowance as well. Once again, for the full details, including the application criteria and all that, do check it out from our website. So I just want to end off with, by sharing 2 things that, or rather sharing 2 experiences that our students shared with us about studying SUSS. So at the top, for Jordan, she really enjoyed the flexibility that the curriculum gave to her, because it allowed her to balance her hands-on experience, her coursework, and real-world learning. And yeah, basically, there was a lot of flexibility for her when she was studying SUSS. And for Kenneth at the bottom, Kenneth is basically a firefighter. So he was part of the, or rather, he was sponsored by the Ministry of Home Affairs to come and study in SUSS. So when Kenneth came, when he enrolled, he was a little bit taken aback at first because he has been away from studying for quite a while. So he wasn't used to the flipped classroom concept. But over time, he quickly realized that this flipped classroom concept really mimics the working world, where your boss is not going to spoon feed you. You know, your boss is probably just going to tell you, look, I need this done. This is the deadline, get it done by then. Your boss is not going to tell you how to do it. So you always need to self-source for your own information, and how to learn to do things. So Kenneth really appreciated the flipped classroom concept, and he realized how it helps students hit straight into real world demands without skipping a beat. Okay. So this is my last slide. If you need to reach us, you can give us a call at 6562489777. You could drop us an email at student_recruitment@suss.edu.sg. We're on social media as well, so feel free to drop us an IM or DM. Or if you happen to be coming into Singapore later this month, we are actually having our open house on the 24th of February. So the date is very easy to remember, 24224. Okay, so if you're in Singapore, feel free to pop by 463 Clementi Road, come and speak to us, come and sign up for the talks, speak to our faculty members, and you can get to find out more about SUSS from there as well and explore the campus. Okay, so yep, that brings me to the end of my sharing session. Thank you so much. Okay, I hope we have a little bit of time for Q&A.
There's no questions from our viewers.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Yamula, Mr. Joachim Lim, for your presentation. We hope this session has been beneficial for our viewers. Thank you for joining us. See you soon in our next webinar session starting at 11:10 a.m. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, and all the best for your